What's up guys, and welcome back to Athena's Garage. In today's video, we're fixing the front bushings on the Scrambler 500. Let's get right into it. One way to see if your bushings are bad, the obvious, if they do that. Now the other side isn't as bad, but it is still pretty loose. Let's see, I don't think it'll do that, but it's still wallowing around in there. And if you look, you can see the plastic bushing is starting to wear out. So we're gonna get these things fixed up. First step I did is I chalked both back wheels so this thing doesn't move. I'm going to take the wheels off after I lift up a little bit, and then we got to take a few other things off. Just gonna jack up the front of this foiler and throw some jack stands underneath the frame under there so that we have better access to these lower A-arms and the bushings, and obviously to take the tires off. All right, foilers on jack stands, front wheels off the ground. I'm gonna zip off these lug nuts real fast. They are 14s, and get both wheels off. Now to get these things off of here, we're gonna have to remove this front little guard right here, and there's a bunch of Phillips head screws on it, and there may be some other bolts, so we're gonna start taking those off. Actually, I lied. There is a hole right in this little plastic fender that you can slide a socket in to get to that nut on the bushing right there. So you actually don't have to take that off. I thought we had to, but we don't. Here's the kit I got. I just got this off of Amazon. It's got some plastic bushings, which most of them do, these copper washers, spacer things, new pivot bolt joint things, whatever these are, I don't remember, and then some new hardware, which is nice. So next thing, we're gonna go over here to the machine and get a wrench and a socket or whatever on each side here and zip those bolts off. All right, so I got a 14 millimeter socket on this side and a 14 wrench on this side, and we're just gonna start going to town. We actually don't have to have one on each side, it looks like, because it's not spinning inside there, so we should be okay. I just have to unthread this nut here, and I should be able to get this thing out of here. Okay, there's our nut, or I keep saying nut. There's our bolt. And now we can go to this side. Don't need that extension, and get this 14 off on this side. All right, I got this other bolt off, or almost, I guess. And now our bushing should be free. This is a grease mess, so make sure you got some rag, because there is loads of grease and gunk built up in here. I'm gonna get these bushings off here and try to get that rod out of there, and then put everything back on. Well, this bushing just kind of fell apart. It's a good sign they needed to be changed. So I just got some needle nose, trying to pry these things off of here. This little rubber, or this copper washer there, should just slide off like it did. And yeah, these bushings are toast. So now we should be able to pound this rod out or pull it out. I'm gonna get a hammer and tap it on that side. Hopefully we can slide this thing out, clean out this little tube the best we can. All right, I got this thing out with a lot of struggle. Now I'm gonna look inside this tube. I can't see right here because I'm not bent down far enough, but I imagine it is loaded with this nasty grease. I don't see any other parts of the bushing on there, so they're either stuck in there or they've disintegrated. I imagine they're stuck and disintegrated. You don't have to take this off, but I did anyway, because this actual A-arm of mine is bent from being, there no being bushings in there. It's actually bent like an oval instead of a circle. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace it with the parts one I got, because that one's in good shape. But from the next step, you can just skip all this part, because you can just install your bushings and rod here and then be done and move on to the next step. But I got a pickle fork here and popped off that point there, and I'm gonna go remove the other one off of the other parts quad so I can get this one. All right, so these A-arms look pretty good. The bushings are still good on them, so I don't think they're gonna be bent up, and they're also not as rusty, but I'm still probably gonna clean them up and paint them. So I'm just gonna get these off real fast and bring them back inside to the other one. After a lot of time and pounding, I finally got the new donor A-arms free of the bushings and the copper gaskets there, or copper washers. I actually realized the ones on this side are on the wrong way. The washers are supposed to be on the inside, and the other things are supposed to be on the outside. So I haven't got very much farther than that just on this one. I still got to do that one. So you guys hopefully can skip all this and get to the other part if you don't have to do anything like this. All right, after a lot of time, I got the old bushings out of the parts quad that we have here out, and we're going to be popping this thing in. Now I've cleaned them out too, and this one's actually circle, unlike this one. That's why, if you can tell the difference here. So I'm going to put the bushings in here. I got to remember which way they go, either this way or maybe that way. Like that, probably. Yeah, like that. So I'm going to put the bushings in, and then we'll go from there. I was really confused for a minute how these sat, but it looks like the straight part is on the front and the angle part is on the back. And now with these new bushings, unlike the other side, they're supposed to go a certain way. Looks like you put this this on first, like that, this little copper washer, and then you put the bushing in, but I'm not sure. These copper washers have an inset. You see they're kind of ribbed. I'm assuming that's to go on the inside of that. Or maybe they are for this side. Okay, they're definitely for that side. So it looks like it goes on that way so it sits flush with this bushing. And then we just have to kind of push these bushings in. They're not too bad. You can kind of hit them with your hand, and then I'm going to get a hammer and kind of just set this on the ground, a mallet, and pat this on the ground to get it all the way flush. New bushings and copper washers that are on, so now we should be able to slide this bar through. It should go easy. Yeah, I assumed it would. And then we can slide this up in there and use the new hardware that it comes with. And it's just one bolt and one washer and one lock washer on each side. I'm also going to throw some blue Loctite on these things. Now, I don't know the torque specs. I never do, but I'll post them on the screen for you guys. And I'm just going to snug these things down pretty good. All right, so now that this is all in here, I'm just going to move this out of the way. Yours should technically still be attached because you didn't have to do what I did. Don't do that. This should just kind of slide in here. Wiggle it if you have to. And then we're going to get our bolt. I'm going to douse this sucker with some blue Loctite once it's in there, and torque this thing down. And that side's in. Here's some blue Loctite. All right, that was a little bit of a struggle, but you have to have a wrench on one side and a socket on the other to really get these things going. Okay, I found the torque specs. The A-arm bolts up there are 30 foot-pounds, and this nut down here, this castle nut attaching the lower A-arm to the your shock housing here, is 25 foot-pounds. And then I got a new cotter pin for that. So that's this side, and then we're gonna pump it full of grease until it starts squirting out there, and then I'm gonna wipe that off. But that's this side. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. If I have any issues, I will let you guys know, but that's probably gonna be the end of this one. We're gonna test the steering and make sure everything functions correctly at low speeds after I finish the other side, and then, I mean, essentially we're done. All right, guys, that's gonna be the end of this one. Everything's nice and tight up here. Went for a little drive, everything was good. So if you had any questions, leave them down below in the comments. If you like this kind of stuff, consider subscribing. And if you want to see more stuff with this Scrambler, I got a couple more videos coming out with it, so follow along. If you want to help support the channel a little bit further, you could consider becoming a member, 99 cents a month. Other than that, guys, that's it. All the links for the stuff I'll have down in the description down below. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you have a good one. Bye.